Hello and welcome to Tabletop Oddity. My name is Jay and today I want to talk about whether or not we're going to get the downed ATST or Sabine and Bossk. Now, we might be getting both of them, we might be getting one and then the other. All in all, we're not exactly sure when these are getting properly released. Now, there's people who have opinions on this. I myself was in the camp that, we're going to get Bossk and Sabine this week, this month, maybe next week. And then the downed ATST maybe a little while after, etc. But it's a bit confusing, and I think that's a secondary point to this video will be, and I've mentioned it before, FFG, the release date system is not particularly great. For a variety of different reasons, I will talk about that as well. Before we get on with the whole of the video, if at the end you like the video, press like, and if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do that, as that really does help. So what are we talking about? If we go onto the FFG printing page, which tells us when stuff is coming out, we can scroll down and find that the downed ATST Battlefield expansion is in the shipping now section, right? Shipping now, that means it's generally out in 7 to 10 days or whatever it says here. And that sort of goes in line with a store that I've seen that they were selling it, I think in the UK for, on the 30th of May, which would be a Thursday, the last Thursday of this month. That seems reasonable. However, we've had the article for Sabine, essentially the last article you get before something comes out. But if we do scroll down to Sabine and Bossk, you can sort of ignore, well, actually, if we look at the order of this, we've got on the boat for these guys, the Imperials, the Dewbacks and that kind of stuff, and Bossk and Sabine are at the printer. But we've had the final article for Sabine, and I have no idea when we expect them. We were scheduled to have a Q2, let me scroll down to this, I think maybe I can find this. If I click Sabine, and I'll be then given a section of the news. The news article will tell me release at the bottom, and it will say, does it say anything? Second quarter of 2019. Second quarter of 2019 is June, basically before June. And yeah, okay. Do you see what I mean? There's a little bit of confusion here. I think a lot of people thought Sabine and Bossk was May. That was the window it was sort of announced for, but we're not getting that, or are we getting that? And are we going to have a month that was like the barricades, which was it barricades or was it priority supplies? One of them came out and that sort of took the position for May last year, and people weren't particularly thrilled about that, I think, for obvious reasons. We were getting like cool new stuff, and then we had like a little bit of terrain, a little bit of barricades. And the question is that happening now? Are we getting the downed ATST as the May release, and then are we going to get Bossk Sabine? Or are we going to get Bossk, the core troopers and the Dewbacks and Tauntauns? Like, it's all a bit weird. do you know what I mean? And I think, if I'll go on record, I was convinced that we'd have Bossk Sabine this month, the ATST just thrown in, and then next month we would have the core troopers and the Tauntauns, or the whichever way around it is, the core troopers and the Dewbacks, whichever way around it is, and then the same the following month, and then we would lead into Clone Wars. But now I'm not really sure what's happening, which is unusual. I had a theory, and I've spoken to some people who believe that we are actually still getting Bossk and Sabine, then the downed ATST, and then so on. But it's just a bit weird that we're not, like, the order on that website, that it's actually printing, whereas the other stuff is either shipping or is on the boat. That's unusual. And I don't mean to come across negative. I actually don't mind what we get or when we get it. I think the downside is that there's a little bit of a communication issue. Now, this is something I spoke about before, of when are we getting our releases? We don't know. FFG don't supply that information. I obviously would like them to. That would be good information to have, to know when stuff is coming out and when. And you might look at this at GW on the other hand are like, well, we're going to announce something 2 weeks before it comes out, and my mum's calling, I don't know why, it's like I'm getting married tomorrow maybe. They'll announce something 2 weeks out, you know, pre-order it this day, it's installed that day, done, right? Now FFG don't really do that. We get an announcement 3 months before, we get an indication of when it is, what month it is, and then we know their patterns enough to know it's probably a Thursday, probably the second to last Thursday in a month, something like that. But that's not really a guaranteed thing. And we also get these like preview articles, like we had Sabine, which is generally a good indication that something is coming, if not immediately. And that's generally about it. We have that website where it says shipping at the printer, etc., and they give you indications of when that, how long that's supposed to be. So like, shipping is 7-10 days or whatever. On the boat is a month or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And it's a bit awkward if I'm honest. And it's I feel like if FFG could do one thing, I would very much like them to improve that. Now, I've said before, and I'll say it again, there are probably reasons that is the case. They are shipping this stuff, I presume, from China. That whole thing has to work smoothly for them to have a release window. Then that needs to actually get over here or wherever it's going, Australia, America, Europe. Those boats have to get to the right place at the right times. And then I think they go straight to the stores, right? So there's no intermediary warehouse. As far as I can, from what I've been told and what I've seen, it seems that way. It seems like it just comes in and goes straight out. Whereas I imagine that Games Workshop might have various warehouses where they'll stock their products for a little while and then send them to the right location. Maybe that's the case. But because FFG aren't in full, like it's literally going from factory to the store essentially, or at least it seems that way. They then don't have the full control over when stuff is going to get released. Well, they do, but they can't be like, it's definitely coming out on the 15th. This is the day everybody should sell them at. They just sort of allow stores essentially to sell them when they get them because they're going to give them to them when it's for sale. If that makes any sense. And sometimes you'll see some stores get their stuff early and then they just start selling them because that's generally what FFG like do. And I say FFG, I'm in Europe at least, I'm pretty sure it's Asmodee, who are a massive company, but obviously, so this is all like a well-oiled machine. It's just a well-oiled machine that doesn't necessarily allow us to say such and such is coming out on the 15th. And I think FFG probably don't want to commit to a release date on specific things because if there's a problem, maybe they've been bitten before. I know a lot of X-Wing players joke about stuff being on the boat, etc. If there's been a problem before and they can't get the release date that they have given to people are, I wouldn't say quite rightly, people are going to be a little bit peeved. And, you know, fair enough. If you get given a date and then they don't uphold it and they just say, well, it's going to be an extra month, you're going to be like, all right, fair enough. So I don't blame FFG for this, but if there's one thing I do wish FFG and Asmodee could fix, it would be that. Like, I think being a little bit more in control over when they think things are coming out and release dates and that kind of stuff. As I said, it looks like it goes straight from factory to store, but I may be wrong. Maybe they just don't want to hold it in a warehouse for too long because to them that's wasted cost. You know, I don't really know. I'm not in that supply chain or the logistics of that whole thing. I'm sure they have their reasons. Obviously, it's probably the cost of doing things. Games Workshop, I have no idea how they do it. Maybe they are doing the exact same thing, but maybe they've got the warehouse to the factory made to store just so smooth that they are so confident. It's like as soon as it leaves the factory, they can say it's coming out in 2 weeks. Maybe they can do that. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of them, so don't take my word as gospel. I honestly don't know. It's just stuff that you read and stuff like that. I got something in my eye if you're wondering. And yeah, it's one thing I wish FFG could properly sort. So what is coming out? I don't know. Like, we've had the release article for Sabine, the article you get right near release. We've had it. So it seems imminent, but the down day TST is actually shipping, and that looks like it's definitely coming in a week or so. But Sabine and Bossk, currently at the printer. Interesting. And the new core troopers and the dewbacks and the tauntauns, they are on the boat. So that really does sort of mix things up. Again, no official word from FFG as far as I've seen. I've not seen them post anything on their Twitter or anything like that. And I think that communication, if something is going to get delayed, I think, or if it has been delayed, we don't actually know. I very much would like a tweet or something to just say, actually, that we planned on that going out, but due to certain issues that are beyond our control, it's now going to be this, and that's going to come out, and we'll put this in this section. We don't really get that very much, and I think that could be part of this whole problem, is a little bit of communication. A little bit of communication with a little bit of a non-fully controlled, well-oiled machine, and I think we have this sort of confusion. Now, you're in the comments and you're probably like, but Jay, I know for a fact it's going to be Sabine, look at this link. And you might be right, even if there is something out there where they've said definitely yes, but the fact that I sort of don't know it, and a lot of other people won't know it, even if you do your research, it's just not easily available. I've checked the Spanish site, I can't see anything there. So even if you know it, just keep in mind that it's not the fact that the information isn't maybe existing, it's the fact that we can't find that information very easily. So that's the end of this video. I know I'm not actually like trying to complain. It's just something I wish we could do a little bit better. I wonder if there is something very specific about May, as that we had this last May. Or maybe it's the fact that they're changing the release schedules because of the Clone Wars. Maybe they now want it to be September instead of August. You know, I'm sure there's reasons and stuff that I obviously don't understand. I just wish we had a little bit more certainty and clarity on what was coming, because obviously I want to play with Bossk and Sabine. I'm very much looking forward to them. So yeah, that's the case. Have a beautiful day. Like and subscribe. I've got to bring my mum back and get this thing out my eye. Yeah. Have a beautiful day. Goodbye.